This project was about the history of black firefighters in Omaha. We learned that there were a lot of challenges and barriers that black firefighters faced. Some of the challenges were segregation, failure to be promoted, and women joining the ranks. The following interviews were done with retired black firefighters.
Why did Omaha need black firefighters in 1895?
Well, from what I understand about the history is that the African Americans started settling in North Omaha about that time. They had large businesses and professional, like doctors and lawyers. They had their own churches and stuff. And the African American Society of Omaha decided, and along with the business group, that they needed some protections.
How and when did integration happen in the Omaha Fire Department?
But in 1957, August of 57, they were integrated. They transferred all of the black firefighters out of this station with the exception of 4. And they brought in white firefighters from other stations that volunteered to come to work in this particular station.
What challenges did black firefighters face in the years after desegregation?
Firefighters would put their food together. They had one of the guys would cook. They would have their meals, and after the meals, they would wash their dishes. And I was told that I could use the kitchen until the white firefighters was completely done, had done their dishes. Then I could go in and prepare my own food. But after I prepared my food, I had to clean the stove, and I also had to clean up the kitchen. You have a black firefighter, your partner on the other shift, and this is your bed. You and that firefighter are only to sleep in that bed. You couldn't sleep in a bed that a white firefighter slept in.
Was there any upward mobility for black firefighters during segregation?
Black firefighters never got promoted in the time that they were segregated, like I said earlier, unless the person was died or the guy got demoted. They all stayed in that particular station, and only movement they had was in 1942. One of the captains was took out of the department and put into the Fire Prevention Bureau, and that seemed to open up some movement for black firefighters.
Why is it important to preserve the history of black firefighters in Omaha?
How many people know about the segregation and some of the plights of the African American firefighters? How many books have you read that in? And the reason that's important is because of, like most teachers would tell you, if you don't know your past, then you're doomed to repeat the mistakes of the past. And so this history is giving you an insight into the past and an opportunity to avoid those types of incidents in the future.
No, it's a beautiful thing. 118 years. Can you imagine in 1895, African Americans coming in Omaha, getting the fire department? What was the climate like in the country at that time? Certain laws were being passed in the civil rights thing. It's been pointed out. You really don't know the history.
Because of the struggle that our forefathers, the prior firefighters came on the job to help us get to where we are. That history should never be forgotten because they struggled in more ways than we ever will here in the 21st century.
How are black firefighters seen in the community?
I think about the young kids that I worked in South Omaha, North Omaha. They'll see an African American on a fire truck. They'll look at you and start smiling. There's instant pride. And you want to teach people that it's important. You can make a change in someone's life in what you do and how you represent yourself and how you carry yourself.
Is there a sense of community among firefighters?
It's your second family. Absolutely.
How do retired black firefighters help break barriers?
And our focus is to work in the community, to bring retired firefighters together like Chief Johnson and utilize them in what we're trying to do to promote the welfare of the community and the knowledge of black firefighters. We fought as an association, Freedom Foundation, well, before that with the Black Firefighter Association, to change testing, whereby we had independent testing taken out of the hands of the city. That's what we did.
What barriers do women firefighters face?
no matter how many times a woman has to prove herself, you know, that she can do this job, it's like she always has to continue to prove herself.
Has respect for female firefighters increased over the years?
Yes, it has increased quite a bit.
Were there separate facilities for women in the fire station?
It was a chore. It was, you know, I mean, I can't begin to tell. I mean, their idea of male and female was putting a sign on the door with a chain where you could flip the sign that said occupied, unoccupied.